Okay, I think we can start. I hope.
Hello. Already seeing some messages here. Hi, Julio. Ready to work abroad.
That's great. We're going to discuss today exactly how we can make it possible, because I think we can. Okay, we can give people some minutes to join the streaming. But I think we're good to go soon.
Hello, Ricardo.
Hello, hello. Welcome.
Where you guys are based. So if you could type on the chat, where are you from? To get to know each other better.
Yeah, let's try to get to know each other, because we are distributed all over. I am based in Poland. Guys are based in Brazil. Hello, hello. Amazing. Welcome and join us.
Brazil, Romania, Mexico, Spain, Kenya. God, all around the world. Tunisia.
Amazing.
Yes, Charles, me and Victory from Brazil, France, Nigeria, Germany, Turkey.
Wow.
Wow, UK.
Wonderful. Good crowd. I appreciate it. Colombia, amazing. Great. I think that we can start smoothly, right? Guys, once again, welcome. We're happy to have you all today. That's an amazing crowd. And it's going to be our fourth session today. We're very happy to have you with us again. The topic is very interesting, and I assume it's going to be useful for all of you. So we're happy to share it today. We're going to talk about any tips, tricks, life hacks that can be helpful for you when actually getting ready for technical interviews during the hiring process, right, Maria?
Yes, so some technical tips for technical interviews. And as you probably know, we like to have special guests with us on these webinars. And today I'm very happy, very excited to present you my colleague. And I'm very excited because he's from Brazil as well. Victory Fernandes, our technical lead at Proxify, who will share his unique expertise with us. So welcome, Victory.
Hello, guys. How are you all doing? So my name is Victory. I'm from Brazil. I'm from Salvador in Brazil. Very sunny, very hot. Just as a quick introduction, my background, I'm an electrical engineer. I have been in tech for all my life. Actually, I have been coding ever since I'm like 18 years old professionally. And during all my university, I always did that. I founded my first company when I was still at university, and here I am at Proxify, supporting the team to, let's say, do our best in order to vet our candidates. I have been a professor at the university for 9 years, teaching mostly coding for microcontrollers and also the basis for electronic engineering people. And that's it. I mean, a little of my background, and a master degree in medicine, the area of neuroscience. So I'm a geek myself.
Amazing. Well, I don't think that Maria and myself are as geeky as you, Victory. I think that you are the only one from the three of us today that is like that. We cannot boast about the things like this. But we're very happy to host you today. Well, you guys probably already saw Maria and myself doing a similar session some time ago. Maria, do you want to present yourself? I think that you have a couple of words to say.
Yeah. So my name is Maria. I'm from sunny city as well, but different one than Victory. I'm from Fortaleza, Brazil. I am psychologist, but I'm working at Proxify as a talent sourcer. So I bet that I already come across to some of you guys exchanging some next messages on LinkedIn. And I'm a proud member of Catherine's team. So go ahead, lead. Present yourself.
Amazing. Thank you, Maria. Wonderful introduction. And myself, I'm very happy to be the lead of the amazing sourcing team here in Proxify for more than 2 years already. Overall, being in recruitment and in tech for more than 5 years, I bet, for now. So far, so good. And to remind to those who are watching us for the first time, what we're doing here in Proxify as sourcers is actually reaching you out, trying to help you get on board with us, make you join our wonderful network of developers, and make you one step closer to the exciting opportunities that you deserve and that we have to offer. All right. Before we start and go ahead and kick on the topic, a few ground rules, as we normally do. As you remember, we are quite tight in time. We're trying to make it up to 1 hour of those sessions. So if you guys come up with any questions that you would like us to talk about more, don't hesitate to drop them in the chat, and we will make sure to answer, if not all of them, then at least the ones that we will not cover during this session, to make it as informative as possible. So please don't hesitate, drop anything in the chat, and we will shed some light on this at the end of the session.
Now, everyone, let's get started. So let me introduce you a little bit about Proxify. Proxify was founded in 2018 with the mission to connect the world's best developers with the opportunity you guys deserve. Our goal is to uncover the world's hidden talent while streamlining the hiring process for them and making it efficient for both developers, but also our clients. We specialize in matching remote tech talents with business that need their skills. And our business model ensures that the candidates are only evaluated once, which is pretty nice, open the doors to numerous of opportunities. And this approach, of course, not only save times, but also ensure that our clients get access only to the top tier talents that have already been vetted for excellence, which Victor will talk a little bit later. But anyways, here, I don't want to take a long time here, but only for you guys understand how Proxify works better. And here we have our vision, our mission, our market promise, but as well our values. It's super important for us. So speed, quality, impact, and personal. We like to keep things going, get it done really fast. Pay attention to the details. We also to sit through collaboration, so working as a team. And of course, we added some personal touch in all the process. But I bet that some of you already know Proxify hiring process. But for the newcomers, I think it's always good to talk about a little bit better. So let's deep dive in. First of all, how things work with us. We do have some preliminary contact. This is my favorite part, to be honest, because as you know, I'm a sorcerer. So here is where I work. We kind of have two options to the candidates. The first one, you see a job ad that you really like it and you apply yourself. Then you can get shortlisted by our AI. And then we go straight away to the screening process. Or you can get contacted by me or my colleague Lesia, and then we exchange some messages. And if the job fits for you, we go straight away to the screening process. So one of our recruiters will speak personally to every of the shortlisted or sourced candidates, assessing, of course, their English level, communication skills, soft skills, and so on. And Vic, can you explain how the technical assessment process works at Proxify in more detail?
Yes, of course. So at some point, either before or after talking to one of our recruiters, the candidates, they will receive a technical assessment, just a test, okay? An offline test that you'll be able to actually do at home, in your computer, at some quiet place. And after that, after you submit your test, in case you are approved, we'll move you to another stage, which is called the technical interview. At the technical interview stage, you'll be interviewed by a specialist, and it's going to be like a real person in front of you, just you and the specialist. You have plenty of time to reply to some knowledge questions and also some coding challenges. And again, in case you're selected, we move you forward to make you a member. So the focus of today's meeting, the focus of my work at Proxify is the technical assessment process, both the test you do offline and the technical interview. So I manage all the team that performs our technical interviews. I manage all the team that builds and maintain all the questions and the core technical part of the vetting process. And we actually hold the flag that will, let's say, be the last word in order to decide or not to hire a candidate. So here I am in order to try to explain in more details these two stages of the process. That's, as you guys can see in the presentation, it's responsible to filter part of the candidates in this process. Okay.
Perfect. Victory, thank you so much for this overview. We're looking forward to hear more about what is happening on the technical stages. But I mean, as we said before, Proxify is in the game for 6 years already, as it was founded back in 2018. So why don't we take this dive and a bit of a flashback into the past, right, Victory, to just get an overview of how it was back in the days, and eventually how has it changed and what we have implemented over the years, right?
Great, fantastic. So, at the beginning, the company was still very small, and we started to do all our process and actually build all our vetting system and vetting process. Some people maybe not know, from where we started until where we are right now. So we started at the point where we had actually our CEO doing technical interviews and evaluating the first developers. Okay, so it's a startup company with hands-on from everybody. A small team actually motivated and building the future. And it was already 2 years after that Proxify went globally, and we start to expand to 10 new markets, and we need to make the thing more and more professional each time. So that's when the team starts to grow. And back in 2001, when the company actually was selected as leading innovation company, and we start to make some noise and to, let's say, present on the scenario, right, of the, let's say, most relevant company in this business. It was back then in 2021 when I joined the company. The company at the time was about 40 to 50 employees. And from there, we have been growing a lot and scaling very fast. So just to give you, let's say, some numbers, last year we vetted about 112,000 candidates. So we received 112,000 candidates in order to select. And we performed, almost 5,000 technical interviews. So that's where we came from and where we are right now. And in order to do this, we need to, let's say, think about initiatives to, let's say, keep the quality and keep improving our vetting process in order to actually be able to work with the best candidates. Mostly because our clients, they expect the best. So we're here actually to, let's say, find you guys the best jobs, but for the best candidates.
I joined Proxify at 2022, and I bet a lot of things changed from 2022 to nowadays. But Vic, what changes have you been made to the assessment process, and why?
Yes, well, some changes that we performed. First of all, we changed some partners, some tools that we used along the process, mostly because either they were not working as they expected, or simply because they were not the best options in the market. So we try to work with partners that can be the best. We aim to be the best, so we are working with tools and partners that are the best. So we changed some tools around. We did a lot of work to create process and enhance our processes. So this is a constant evolution here at the company. Whatever is for some reason not working at its best, we are supposed to, let's say, identify, discuss, and solve, so that we have processes that will not create bureaucracy, but rather make sure that if it happens again, it runs smoothly. So I think this is most of our focus. And the idea is always to focus on quality and candidate experience. So we are there trying to make the tests better, make that not only the test is able to vet the candidate, but also make it in a smooth way. We want to be able to select the best candidates, but consuming less hours as possible from our candidates, making the process as fun as possible or as engaging as possible to our candidates. And this is what we do each day more. Basically, we have to come from a very big number of submissions. Even you guys have to think about that sometimes we have even fake submissions, right? And we have from there, we have to filter everything and come up with the best of the best, the gems. So I'm sure that all of you guys there are there watching. And I have been there myself. I was a developer myself for, 20, 25 years. So we know how much work we put in order to, let's say, be a specialist. And eventually finding the ideal job in the ideal market that pays the ideal salary is not so easy. And what we do is make it easier. But if I would have to make it easier to find the job, okay, I have the job, but then you have to go through this process, which is you'll be tired. It's going to consume you so many hours. That's not our target too. So, candidate experience is also very important. And one of the pillars of our company we were talking about was speed, but we also had personal as one of our pillars, right? So having the chance to actually talk to people, to actually know that I'm talking to a real recruiter that will actually give real attention to me, and that during technical interview, I'll talk to another person just like me, because you have to remember all our technical interviewers are people we pick from our team. So those are people that went through the very same process that you're going through. Okay. And those are all real people. That's why we're here. That's why we are doing this kind of meetings, right? So you guys know we are all real. And again, once you join the network, you have one developer success manager. We have client success managers, and they are all there, let's say, talking to you constantly in order to update your profile, in order to present you best to your possible client. We have a coaching team that will be able even to give you tips and improve your presentation, what to expect during a meet and greet. So we're mostly focused on quality and candidate experience. I would say actually on all the way from when you submit first time at Proxify until you get your first job at Proxify. I think this is what makes the difference, and I think that this is what we changed constantly, and we will keep changing constantly year after year.
That makes a lot of sense, Victory. Thank you so much for sharing it. It sounds like a huge crave of job. And when you work daily in Proxify, you see a lot of different teams, departments working in beautiful synergy. And really, the fruit of all this hard job is truly inspiring. And we see that it turns out into great results. But when it comes to the best assessment practices that we have implemented, because of course, over the years, a lot of things have changed. We have just spoken about it. But if we would select the top 3 of them, which ones would be and why? And how have we ended up with them?
Good. I would say no doubt that from when the company started until now, we invested a lot of time to train our recruiters. I mean, when you're talking to a technical interviewer, okay, the guy is a specialist in your very same coding language or eventually similar coding languages, but he's a tech specialist, right? But not necessarily the recruiters are, right? I mean, there are many companies out there where you'll be talking to, let's say, general HR people that hire for, let's say, developers, but they may also be hiring some other kind of professional that has nothing to do with development, software development. So what I'm very proud of that we did, let's say, significant improvement during the last few years is to hear some feedbacks from developers sometimes saying, hey, look, I just talked to this recruiter and felt like she was a specialist on, I don't know, in Django. And then I asked if she has ever coded, and she said no. I mean, why is that so? Because we invest a lot of time providing, let's say, all the recruiters need in order to study what they are going to, let's say, talk about with the candidates, to have material, to have time, to have proper training, to be in touch with the technical team, internal product team, technical interviewers team. So we exchange a lot to make sure that, again, your experience is the best, that actually the recruiter knows what you're talking about, knows about your needs and your expectations as a developer, right? I've been there myself, and I know exactly, I mean, what we are looking for when we are looking to, let's say, nail that perfect job, right? And this is for sure one thing that I'm very proud of. Again, when it comes to assessment, what I would say is that when I first started at the company, we had many assessments that were not real life tasks. You know, when you submit to a company and all the tests are like algorithmic stuff, like stuff you do at the university, but you never really used in real life. So I'm completely against that. I think that good assessment is an assessment that can actually prove to me that you can actually perform real stuff. Okay, it's fantastic to be able to solve the most complex algorithms that are out there, but not necessarily I will use this in day-to-day life. We had the cases, I don't know, you may have this PhD professor from a university, and the guy is supposed to know everything about one given language, let's say Java, because he teaches Java, it's been ages, right? But then he has no professional experience, right? And what we are searching for are good knowledge, good ability to code, but also professional experience. We need to put together and balance all these skills. And nothing better than real life questions and real life coding assessments to actually vet the candidates the proper way and actually keep the candidates engaged. Because when you receive a test that has nothing to do to what you do in real life, then you're not motivated to do it, right? And that's it. I still have many plans to make it even better. I have plans for gamification, and we have many things in our roadmap that I would like to implement and make it more fun. I believe that it should be fun. The experience should be nice and fun.
Nice. We kind of talked about a lot of things, but I know that coding excellence it's important, but also soft skills as well. And why assess coding and excellence and soft skill during the interview process? Why this is so important? Could you?
Okay. Yes, indeed. This is another point that also changed a lot during the last few years. In the past, we used to assess soft skills mostly during the recruitment interview, but we also assess soft skills during the technical interview. It's been quite a long time now. And this is a combination. You guys must understand that, okay, you want to nail the perfect job. And I have the client that wants to find the perfect developer. But the client is the person who is giving the rules here, right? I mean, they have really high expectations in terms of professionalism, in terms of capability to actually deliver. They are willing to pay, but they need guarantees that the one person that they are going to hire is going to be able to deliver to them. So we are mostly focused during assessment level on hard skills, of course, because the client demands that, but we will be also investigating and validating your soft skills. What I mean with that is that soft skills are important during the whole process. From the time you will be first time talking to the recruiter until the time that we present you to the client. We expect the very same posture. We expect the very same light, let's say, environment, good quality of camera, audio, no noise behind, and everything. This is like a tip already, because sometimes we have candidates join technical interview, I don't know, from a bar, because it's the very same time that the Olympic Games are on, and I need to watch the game 5 minutes after the interview, right? And then we have a problem right there sometimes, because eventually the interviewer will not be able to hear you well, right? And if you connect to an interview like that, maybe eventually you will connect to the client like that also. So it is soft skills related, right? And that's it. I mean, just to make sure that we put the very same importance level in hard skills and soft skills. I know it's sometimes hard because we tend to think like, oh, look, I can code. I mean, I can code whatever I want. Yes, that's true. But once the camera is on, please make sure that you look professional as you would go to the office, because this is what the client expects. After the camera is off, you can code whatever as long as you deliver, right? So this is what I would leave as a message here.
That makes a lot of sense. But also, like, I will continue bombarding you, Victory, with different questions because it's a super interesting topic. And I'm sure we have a lot of things to say on the topic of how we actually make sure that we avoid bias and that any of our assessment processes, any part of it, is actually fair towards any candidates, because it's true with the flow of candidates that we have to assess. We have to be objective, we have to stay fair to everyone. So I am sure we have some tips to comment on this one, right?
Yes, that's true. What happens is that whenever we are talking about making an assessment and deciding, I mean, over one thing or another, it doesn't matter. I mean, if maybe those are two apples on the market, you catch this one or you catch that one, right? We try to, let's say, make the process as much objective as possible. So we want to have measurables and be able to compare those measurables. If it's an apple, maybe it is the color, maybe it is the size. Maybe I take the apple in my hand and I do like a little squeeze to see if it is too soft or eventually too hard, right? Those are the measurables that are, let's say, objective. And we are, let's say, tracking those as much as possible. And then we also have other, let's say, variables that are more subjective, that will happen during the conversation with the real person in front of you, right? Being the recruiter or the technical interviewer. And over the objective and over the subjective, let's say, measurables, we must have means to reduce biases. And of course, for the objective measurables, if we are talking color, maybe the camera quality can, let's say, give me a wrong appearance of the apple, right? So all our people is trained actually to try to reduce those biases and be flexible on some things in order not to, let's say, reject a candidate because eventually it was, let's say, some minor thing that happened in the process. And also about many other aspects like cultural fit and so on. So we give them as much training as possible so they can look at the objective measurables and also the subjective measurables and take, let's say, grounded decisions, guided decisions, in order to not to be biased. And we are constantly checking these guidelines in order to adjust in time, adjust in the results. Okay. Whenever in doubt, I mean, if a recruiter or a technical interviewer is in doubt, we follow the guidelines and we are still in doubt, then eventually we have second opinions. Recruiters can request second opinions to technical interviewers or to recruiters, and technical interviewers the same. So we have channels inside, and it happens a lot that eventually will require further review. So my opinion is this, but I'm requiring further review from someone else in the team in order to, let's say, decide on how to proceed in this case. This is something that is also very important and I value a lot, meaning that when you submit, you know that someone actually looked at your profile and actually decided over it. Okay. Eventually, if the result, if the outcome is not what you were expecting, like you did not move forward for the next step, then it is a matter of understanding what's happening, what can I improve in order to, let's say, make it through, right? But this is something also very important to make sure that we have quality checks that can guarantee a fair and unbiased process as much as possible. One last point is that we run this, let's say, every month with many candidates, and we also run quality random checks. So from time to time, we are here checking on interviews, recordings, because all the interviews are recorded with recruiters and technical interviewers. We are checking on the tests to see the results. Actually, today, before this meeting, I'm supposed to present a report on a given stack. So I'm investigating and deep diving in one single stack to see how the performance of that stack is and to see if we need to adjust something. I mean, maybe the test is too hard. Maybe it is too easy. Maybe it is somehow not totally related to the real life coding questions that we want. So if we are missing something, where are we missing? So we are constantly doing that and running checks on all the stacks, all the interviews, and all the teams.
Fantastic. Victory, that's impressive. I think that we have a lot of more details and topics to talk about. So Maria, if you want to take the next one, you are welcome, because that one is quite interesting, actually.
Talking about reviews and stuff like that. Oh my God, we do this a lot. Sourcers fight for the candidates, so we treat them like princes and princes, always asking, feedbacking, and talking with the recruiters, talking with client managers, talking with technical interviews. So daily activities. But anyways, I was taking my notes as well, even though I work at Proxify every time. It's a good place to learn. Vic, could you talk a little bit better about the general guidelines and expectations for technical assessment and technical interviews at Proxify?
Sure. So if you submit to Proxify and you make it through to receive a technical assessment, you will get an email that is actually an invitation for you to do the offline test, as we mentioned. All the offline tests at Proxify, they are standardized. So we try to make sure that we have similar rules to create tests, no matter what is the stack that I need to evaluate. Okay. Meaning that for all tests, we will have an average of 3 questions. This is what you guys can expect. And you will have, let's say, a pretty relaxed time to do this test. It's not that the test takes 180 minutes. This is very important. Is that we give to you up to 180 minutes to solve it. That's totally different. Maybe the test is very easy for you, and you will do like that, and you will finish, I don't know, in 45 minutes, and you'll get a very good result. And that's fine, because that means that you are such a good developer that you can code and code really fast. And the speed is also something that we are looking for. It's I always say that coding is like running a marathon. I mean, there is a lot of people that can run marathon. There is a lot of people that can't, first of all. Okay? First of all, there's a lot of people that cannot run a marathon. So there's a lot of people that cannot code, right? And then when it comes to coding, and let's look at the general scenario, okay? If I give a task, there is a lot of people that eventually, if I give 1, 2 days, a month to solve, that they will be able to solve at some point, right? But unfortunately, this means that his coding experience is not, let's say, exactly what we are looking for. So we are looking for people that can run a marathon, but can do it in a certain level of time. Not necessarily only the ones that go to the Olympic Games, but also I'm not looking for that guy that, I mean, kudos to this guy that runs a marathon in 8 hours. So he's there. No matter what, I will arrive. So kudos to him. But unfortunately, this is not the guy that we're looking for. So we are looking for an average. And the average is giving you a very relaxed time to do 3 questions, one being what we consider easy. So it's a warm-up question, a question that you should be able to just nail it, understand how the interface works, and even have some spare time that if you need for a harder task, you can use it, right? And 2 other tasks that we actually grade as medium tasks that will more or less be able to understand better where you stand. And from the balance weight of these 3 questions, we take an average score that will make you through or not to the next process. The next process is the technical interview that will take from 60 to 90 minutes, depending on the stack. Okay, I mean, we have shorter interviews or longer interviews. And what I can say about the assessment at the technical interview, it will be divided in 3 moments, I would say. First one is an introduction and a deep dive on your past experiences. You can write whatever, anyone can write whatever on a resume. But then when you are in front of someone that actually knows better or knows just as much as you know that technology, this person can actually separate what is real from what is not necessarily that real, right? And this is what happens during this deep dive. We are trying to understand what is that you did when you worked for this company. What was actually your portion of work in this project that you did, that you said that you did? What was the problems that you solved in this process? What have you learned? So we are there in an easy talk with the interviewer, trying to understand better everything that you informed us. And then you have the knowledge part, where we'll try to deep dive on your knowledge about the stack that you're submitting. It is a multiple choice question part, and we do many follow-up questions. Let's say you mark a wrong question or a right question, we will do follow-up questions to understand that if you're firm in your decision, if you know what you're talking about, or if you're just guessing or something like that. And then at the end, we will have 2 coding challenges. Again, one very easy, you're supposed to nail it. The first one just as a warm-up, and the second one, a medium one, just like as you did in Codility, so that we are sure that it was you coding in the very first stage, that you can code under a little pressure. Right now, the time is shorter. Then you have 30 minutes for the first coding challenge and 40 minutes for the second. So you have more pressure in terms of time. And again, try to focus on as much as possible on real life coding questions. Okay. This is, let's say, an overview, general overview of the process.
Fantastic. Victory, that was very insightful. But so to kind of wrap up this session on any life hacks that our candidates should remember. So when it comes to things to avoid, or on the contrary, things to do in order to get the best results, to impress our interviewers, what should they keep in mind? Let's try to zoom on those 3 points. Which actions would you highlight here to help our candidates?
Good. So talking first about what to avoid. Okay, so you have this technical assessment that you have to do, and you're, first of all, should prepare for it, okay? If you have not yet submit to Proxify, take some time before and make sure you submit once you're ready or you feel ready. Because once you submit, you'll have 7 days to do the assessment. And why 7? Because we make sure that we include the weekend to whoever submits a test to us. So it's not that, oh, I submit on a Monday and then I have to deliver until Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm working and I have my kids and I cannot do it. So the weekend is included. But this gives you only 7 days actually to prepare. So preparing in advance is always a good advice, right? Now that you're watching this video is going to be live on YouTube. Maybe you will watch this video 1 year from now. Make sure that you prepare in advance. You know more or less how the assessment is. So make sure you study the language, all the, let's say, the basis and the knowledge of the language that you're submitting, or the framework, whatever. But also study the coding part. So, I mean, get better in coding. Make sure that you're fast enough. Make sure that you're senior enough. It's very important to let people know that we are hiring seniors. So if you're not a senior, or if you don't feel a senior, maybe, I mean, it's more like a moment for you to prepare, right? Once you're prepared, I would say that once you have the test, make sure that you select the best moment to do it. Is it at night when everything is calm? I really enjoy working at night. When my daughter goes to sleep, it's silent outside, my telephone is not ringing, there is nobody writing me on WhatsApp whatsoever. That's my best moment. So make sure you choose your best moment. and make sure you give proper attention to that. For tests that have, for example, multiple choice questions, it's very common for people to reply so fast. Although they have 1 hour to do it, sometimes they reply in 5-10 minutes, and then they fail the test. And then if they had time to actually think over, to actually use the time to, I'm making a question and go there. You have time even to study. Are you sure about this answer? So, let's say, use your time, take your time to do the thing the proper way. We are trying to find the job of your dreams. So give the proper time to the process, right? And what not to do. Nowadays, we don't expect you guys to use AIs during the technical assessment and the technical interview. Although when you're going to work with the clients, we expect you even to use it. But right now, during the process, we really need to know how much you actually know about coding. And this is something to avoid. Our platforms, they can actually detect plagiarism, AI usage, and so on. Meaning that any kind of plagiarism detected by the platform is not tolerated. So it's a complicated situation, but it happens sometimes. Rare, but happens. And this is something to avoid. So I think this is let's say, a good guideline to be successful.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Amazing. I think that we can finalize for the last few minutes. Exactly, we're right on time with some questions that we receive, and I already see that the audience starts to pop up with some comments. And the first one that I would like us to just stop on, because we have spoken a lot about speed and how it's important for all of us here in Proxify. And here we got with the comment that speed is not good for developer and project, but is good for companies. Victory, since we are on techie side today, on the development side, I do think that you have a few words to say here, since you are basically a person who is practicing it on daily basis, this or that way. So any comments that we could give here to make this conversation?
Yes, sure. So as I mentioned, during the first stage, the technical assessment stage, we give you a very relaxed time, right? 1 hour per task. Even the easy task has the very same average of time, 1 hour, than the medium ones. And then this makes sure that we, let's say, at first, give you an opportunity to do the things at your very own pace. Once we are through that, then we squeeze a little bit more the process, right? And then we give you 30 minutes for the easy task, 40 minutes for the medium task. And again, we evaluate this. Although speed is not necessarily directly related to seniority, but it can also tells you a lot about seniority. So not necessarily I'm fast just because I type fast or because I remember everything. It's because I have seen that before. It's because I know where to search for. It's because instead of taking 1 hour trying to find a solution, I'm able to find the solution in 10 minutes, right? So it talks a lot about seniority in this sense. And since we are trying to separate, let's say, junior candidates from senior candidates, this actually helps us to separate and say, hey, look, although this guy can run a marathon, he's running a marathon in 8 hours. And I expect to keep people that can run, 3 hours or better. So this is kind of the analogy that we're doing here. Okay. And at the end, we are looking for the senior ones.
That makes a lot of sense, Victory. Great. And so there is also one question about the tasks that we're having in our tests. So are the coding tests about algorithms or more on general stuff, such as what would you do in order to make this app faster type of thing? I think we kind of covered this one, but we can briefly talk about it just once again to make sure.
Yes, I mean, we kind of covered the first one when he asked about algorithms. Yes, it involves algorithms. I mean, as I said, we do our best to try to keep only real code live in questions, but not always it is 100% possible. From time to time, eventually you'll see a task that, oh, here we have yet not touched. Oh, here we have to do better. I mean, it happens, but we are targeting to do 100% if possible real life. Okay. And the other question that he makes is more about if we ask if there is a way to enhance the code. I mean, okay, you gave me this solution. Could you do it better? Could you use less memory? Could you improve it in terms of speed to make the app run faster? Yes, eventually these are some of the follow-up questions that we do. And this is, again, something that helps us separate juniors from seniors, or to try to evaluate your seniority, especially during technical interview stage. So when you come and you have this messy code, when you have this code that could have a much better performance, but you have no idea on how to implement this better performance because you don't know about other coding patterns, because you don't know about other aspects of the language that you're submitting to, then eventually he will, let's say, try you. Eventually, maybe you coded in such a way that it was good enough to solve the task, and maybe he makes a question to you like that, and you start talking. Yes, of course, if I had more time, I would do it this like this. I would improve here. I would use this other reference here instead of doing putting my code like it is here. I would change this and use a totally different approach. But then, I mean, this for me is good enough. But if you want, I can start improving. Do you want to take some time now? You see the difference. It's totally different than if you ask and I say, yes, well, it works, right? I mean, what you expect from me, right? So this is what we can do. And during the technical interview, you have time even to show off a little bit. I mean, once you did the task and it is 100% done, you move for the next task. Once you're finished and time is not up, I mean, eventually you can even question the interviewer. Would you like me to to take some time now to improve my code, or to clean up my code, or whatever, right? So this is actually a good question.
Amazing. And very nice to highlight that we have a room to give to the candidates to boast about themselves, right? That's a very nice moment during the technical interviews. Nice. Okay, we keep on receiving some questions, so we can go ahead and just try to zoom on a few more of them. This one is, by the way, the one that I liked. So, do you review GitHub profiles of candidates, and is that important to you?
Okay. So as much information that we can have from you guys, the better, especially for designers. We were talking the other day, Maria. So please make sure you share your portfolio links with us in LinkedIn. I mean, Maria was telling me that when she's searching for designers, I mean, she misses a lot having a link to candidates' portfolio on LinkedIn. And yes, of course, I mean, if we have GitHub, whatever participation you have on open source projects, past experiences, YouTube videos showing your applications running. Yes, of course, we do a lot. Even I have my YouTube channel. I have like 3,000 followers on YouTube. I have many videos of past projects I did. And it was always very nice for me to demonstrate capabilities. Let's say the process of building, validating on the desk, the solution, then bringing to the factory site, because I was implementing a lot of software for plant floor automation back in the days. So it was always really nice. And whatever information you can provide to us, it's better for us to evaluate your profile. And even once we hire you guys, we bring you into our network and we need to present you guys to the clients, even better, because then we can present this information to the clients in advance also.
Keep in mind, the sourcers are like stalkers almost. So we go into GitHub, we go into LinkedIn, we go into portfolio. So as many information you have, it's better for us. So a good LinkedIn profile, it's a great plus. But if you want more information about it, you can go to our previously LinkedIn live sessions that we recorded. We talk about those subjects.
That's very true. Maria, I was actually expecting you to jump in because, like, do you review GitHub profiles? It tackles a lot in the sourcer. So, yeah, let's summarize it at the point that the more guys you show about your skills, previous projects, accomplishments, the better. We try and check everything. Of course, we're trying to be superheroes. Sometimes we fail. So, we may not check out all the repositories on GitHub, but we do our best. Great.
There is this very simple one. Can we do these tasks in any order? There is one question. Yes, there you go. Very fast, just to reply this one. Yes, theoretically speaking, yes, you can do in any order. Although, as I mentioned, the first question that we propose to you guys is considered the easier one, and it's what we call a warm-up question. So whenever doing a test, even at school, when I was at school, I always choose to go to whatever is easier. Eventually, what I consider easier, it's not for you what you consider easier, because eventually the second question is something that you're working right now. So it's so fresh in your mind that it's for you easier, right? So choose whatever you think is easier. But eventually what we do is put the first one as the easiest one. And just for you guys to know how we say if it is easier or not, we usually we use a benchmark that from our past candidates. So it is regards how many candidates can reach good and average grades for that task. So if candidates can do the task faster and reach better grades, means that it is supposed to be an easier task. So we choose the first one as the, let's say, the easiest one, but you're free to choose the order.
I think that this approach is very inclusive, by the way. I always liked this approach that we're having to like grading the tasks and putting them in the specific order. I liked it.
You should keep yourself motivated. It's no good when you start something and it's already so hard that, oh my goodness, I cannot do anything. Then you don't feel the vibe, right? So
Exactly.
whatever is easier is better, because then you warm up and then you're into it. And again, I mean, you're coding on a platform. Eventually, it's better to take time on something easy when you're still fresh on the platform. So that's another tip I would say. Make sure you guys read all the frequently asked questions that comes in the emails that we send to you guys, because there are many tips on what browser to use, not to use, and how to prepare for the interviews and for the technical assessment. And also make sure you do the tryout questions. That's another point. I mean, sometimes people say, hey, look, I entered and I did not know, I was not familiarized with the platform. Okay, but we sent you an email with a link where you could even do a tryout and test and play. So make sure you use that, right? That's very important.
Very nice. Victory, I think that we should wrap it up, but just to be fair and to finish up on the point of motivation, I can't help but take just this last one. And guys, I'm sorry, I do see all your questions. We would like to stay until next morning with you, but we cannot. So we will try and make the follow-up posts to try to answer everything that we didn't during the session. I like this one. And I do think, Victory, that you have a lot to say here. So what do you think about a motivated candidate, fast learner, willing to work, but having weak experience?
Okay. So I will reply the question until before the but. Okay. So the more motivated you are, the more fast learner you are, the more willing to work you demonstrate to be during the recruitment interview, during the technical interview, the better, right? And this is the moment that you're going to be there with somebody. Remember, this is a real person, right? Use what you have best, okay? When I entered Proxify, as I told, was a small team still. And at the time, I had the luck to be interviewed by the CEO of the company. So not everybody nowadays gets this luck, right? But that also put me a lot of pressure because it is the owner, so I have to demonstrate my best. And many of our clients, they're going to be owners. We are hiring a lot for startups. So maybe you talk to the CTO or the owner or the CEO, right? The founder. Maybe it is a mid-sized company, but maybe it's a very small company. But we're finding those guys. So motivation is the key. Being able to, let's say, express yourself is the key. And this personal touch is very important. Sometimes we from tech, we geek people, we lack a little bit on this social and abilities and so on. So I tell my friends, I say, hey, let's say practice this. I always say that in order not to look and sound so geek, I dance, I surf, and I hit the gym, because then otherwise I would look like this very geek guy. I used to have like 5 degrees glasses, so I use lenses. So otherwise I would look so geek that I would not stand. So try to combine all those skills, and of course, demonstrating motivation and willing to work is the best you can have. Okay, use the time you have for that, and demonstrate coding abilities. The problem here is that when you write but have weak experience, we have 2 issues here. First of all, you have to consider that we have a cutoff. As I said, we are looking for seniors. Eventually, maybe in your current job, you're not rated a senior, but we don't care about that. If you feel a senior and you can already perform as a senior, then we are looking for you. Maybe you're hired as a junior at your company, but we can eventually hire you. But we need a minimum of years of experience. And then even you, Catherine, and Maria, you can talk better about that. But we need you with a minimum of years of experience, real experience, professional experience. As I told you guys, it makes the difference. You can feel the difference. If you talk to that professor at the university, he has 10 years experience teaching Java, but he never really worked in a team, doing daily meetings, like Jira, and solving real problems, and doing releases with the product with 1,000 people connected. And that experience, that pressure, we need a little of that. And in order to do so, when you say but weak experience, we will need a minimum from you, right? We are searching for excellence, and excellence takes time.
That's very true. Maria, do you want to add anything about the experience part? Because I think that from the sourcing perspective, we do have a lot to say here.
Yeah, we do have to follow some guidelines. One of them is years of experience. We actually had some candidates who got rejected because of that. But then time passes. We contact them again. They contact us. They re-join the process, and they join the network as well. So it is what it is. We have to follow the guidelines and make sense. But Catherine, do you wanna?
Yeah, sure. That's true. I think that Victory and Maria already covered a lot about this topic. So yeah, we have this minimum bar of 5 years of extensive experience with different clients, hands-on experience on the technical part. We don't actually make up these rules, or we don't put them in place because we want to make your life miserable, guys. It really comes not from our minds, from the sector of the clients we're working with. So everything is connected and interconnected at the end. When it comes to retrying with us, and I do believe that those people who were really motivated, like as you are mentioning, Habib, fast learners with the huge crave to improve their skills and grow in the field, but having not enough of years of experience, actually had a lot of chances to retry with us. We have the policy of 6 months, after which you can actually take the second attempt. So like that, it actually works. Within the sourcing team, we have the, let's call it, database archive of people who were contacted by us beforehand. They didn't have enough of years of experience, or it turned out it was not good enough for us in terms of standards. So we always come back to them, and it works out eventually for a lot of people. So yeah, I mean, very insightful, big question. Thank you for this one. Okay, I think that we have to stop on the last question that pops up for the second time here. So I prefer to cover this one, and then for sure we'll be done. So when it comes to salary expectations, Maria, I believe that you will also have a lot to say here, because you have a lot of this preliminary discussions with the candidates before they actually get in the process. I will just mention that when negotiating with our candidates, we actually take a lot of factors into account. And here it comes to especially years of experience, so seniority of the people who are in front of us, simply results of your hiring process. Obviously, the better the results, the better you showed off yourself in terms of technical skills, as we spoke during the session today, the more we would be, let's say, open for negotiation. We're trying, of course, to take into account the country you're based in, and so on and so forth. When it comes to markets, because I see that the market aspect was mentioned before when the same person was asking the same question, it's not so easy for us to follow the market differences, since we operate in a lot of different countries. And our candidates are actually working fully remote from a lot of different, even continents. I am safe to say this now. So we're trying to do our best to negotiate, but at the end, of course, we treat all candidates individually. Maria, anything to add here? Because you are also, and Victory. Okay, the rule of thumb. Okay, Maria, then Victory. Okay.
My only request is to be honest. Communication is the key here. So if it doesn't work for you, just tell us straight away, the same way. We can negotiate, but keep in mind honesty.
Yes. Well, first of all, to add that I'm almost sure that when you submit right now to Proxify, in the process of submitting, there is a salary range indicator that can give you, candidate, an idea of either if this is, let's say, out of expected budget for that role. And this is a lot based on our network, the existing network of developers that we have. So you guys have to understand, we receive a client, very good client. He wants the best developer. He wants to pay very nice, but then he receives offers, right? We present to them 3 best candidates with the profiles that he's searching for. And then, of course, eventually the client may decide, not only for hard skills, not only for soft skills, but also a little bit, right, leverage in the price. So I have been there before. Of course, the dream job would pay me a value that I cannot even imagine, but we have to be realistic also. So try to be realistic. This is my message. I mean, I have met people, even friends of mine, that I say, hey, look, I work for this company, you should submit. And then when the guy submits and he comes back to me and say, oh, I failed, And when I check on his expectations, I say, hey, look, but this is like 3 times what you're making nowadays. I mean, maybe if you had like asked 2 times, it would be okay. Did you check on the bar? Were you there in the red part of the bar? I mean, be realistic. This is what I mean. Because, of course, once you're in, then in time, it's much easier, especially for those out there that have never worked remotely, 100% remotely. So it is a little bit a bet that the client will take over you. So bets we take with for the best prices also, right? So have this in mind. Sometimes I meet candidates that we are having a hard negotiation, saying, hey, look, I mean, if you give me like €2 down, I can position you in this job, but the client is like fighting for these €2. Can we not be flexible on your side? Again, a little bit of flexibility on all sides. Be realistic, be open, and let's talk.
Great tips, guys. Thank you so much. I think we covered this question. Thank you for this one. And I do think that at this point we can officially wrap up the Q&A session. However, guys, if you have anything remaining on your minds, don't hesitate to reach us out simply, and we will be happy to assist you. At this point, I think it's time to wrap it up. Thank you so much. And I believe we will see you in 1 month. So stay tuned and keep calm until the next updates. Victory, thank you so much. It was amazing.
Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.
See you guys. Ciao.
Ciao.